I'll go. I know you're focused on the Jets. Indulge us just a little bit.
Please, no.
I talked to you last year about this, and you always said, look, I played quarterback in the league. I'm a guy that, doesn't have a timetable, doesn't have an agenda about being a head coach. But in so much as another NFL team has asked to consider you, what's your thoughts about just that opportunity and being put in that group, right?
Well, I really think it's disrespectful to the Jets and whoever you're playing that week, really, when you're talking about things that's really has nothing to do with Sunday's game. To be honest with you, I am completely focused on this football game on Sunday. Obviously, as a coach, anytime your name get thrown around, I guess it is what it is, right? But it really means nothing at this point, right? It really means nothing at this point. And I kind of think it's disrespectful to the guys that you really work with every day. So that's really how I view that. If I'm ever fortunate enough to be in that situation, that's when I'll handle it. But as of right now, I'm really focusing on the opponent we're about to play and getting us ready to try to play our best football.
Would you rather have that process for all teams wait until after the regular season, after the postseason?
I don't even think about it.
Byron, obviously, Tom's had an incredible year again. Leading the league in yards, touchdowns, passes, and attempts, completions. But losing your top two guys, how much has that really hampered the passing attack in terms of touchdowns? You only have one in the last two games.
Well, we're not really out there trying to score touchdowns or throw touchdowns. We're trying to win games and score points. So it don't matter to us how we do that. We're just trying to score points. I never really count touchdown passes, how many he throw throughout a game or throughout how many he's been in the past couple of weeks. I really want us to just try to score points, put our team in position, and try to help us win football games. That's really how I see it.
Byron, a lot of people obviously talk about the greatness of Tom Brady, but for a guy to come back and play the way he played last week after being out for nearly 2 months, does that kind of speak to the greatness of Antonio Brown?
I mean, I don't know how much more he need to do in this league to prove his greatness. I mean, he walked in this league really with it all over him. As a rookie, you knew that this was coming. He's been this type of player since the second he walked in this league, and you just don't expect nothing else of him. From really at this point, I've known him so long. That's just what I expect out of him anytime he's out there on the football field.
When you lose Godwin, then you have to find a way with Searle or whoever. And you got to put the puzzle together a different way, right? You don't have Lenny, you don't have Mike. So is it just a matter of saying, okay, let's figure out what our strength is now?
Yeah, we lost like 70% of our offense in like 10 plays, right? So anytime you're in that situation, you got to do what you got to do, and that's my job. My job is to put these guys in position. My job is to take who's ever coming in, put them at what they do best, and let them try to execute that the best way they can. It's not to make it more difficult or to make them – I can't ask nobody, hey, come in and beat Chris Godwin. Hey, come in and beat Mike Evans. Who we kidding, right? But I can ask them, come and be your best self, because that's good enough for us. That's good enough for us. That'll help us. And that's what you get from the guys. That's why I love this group, man. You guys hear me talk about this week in and week out. I got love for this group because the way they approach it. The way they approach it is the right way. Everybody got their hand in the pile trying to get us better, trying to help us win football games. And they all waiting on an opportunity. When the opportunity comes, it's not an accident that they're doing those things and making those plays because we believe in it, they believe in it. And it's just happening. It's just football. All these guys can play football. They wouldn't be here if they couldn't.
Have you seen that wide receiver group really step it up, knowing that Chris is gone for the rest of the year? They know that it's not going to be a short-term need for them to step into a new role?
I think just the opportunities. I just think it's opportunity. The problem is when you have A.B., Chris, Mike, Gronk, the fifth and sixth guy going to always have a problem with the ball coming his way, right? So it's just opportunities. The fact that these guys were down, now they're in different spots. Now they may not be the fifth, sixth guy in the progression. They may be the first or second guy in the progression. So get ready for that moment. So when it does come, when the opportunity does present itself, you're ready for it. And all these guys have been ready for it with their preparation, with the way they go about the game during the week. All these guys out here trying to get better week in and week out.
You guys did a lot more different personnel type stuff that we saw this past week because of the fact that you had these injuries. How does that help you as a play caller down the road in terms of like just kind of knowing, all right, we do have some flexibility here?
Well, we had games where we had them personnel packages out there. It just was probably different numbers. So we try to be multiple. I say that over and over again. We want to be multiple. We want to have different ways that we can help as an offense. Sometimes it's going to be throwing for 400-something yards. Sometimes it's not going to be. Sometimes Tom's going to have 4 or 5 touchdowns. Sometimes he's not. The key is for us to be able to execute at wherever we're trying to execute to help this football team win games.
You know, he needs
How
3.
much have you been in contact with BA these last couple of days? Or is he just leaving you to it?
Well, I mean, I talk to him like every morning, but nothing's really different. Nothing's really different. He always let us do what we see and how we saw it anyway. So nothing's really different. We just hoping that he get well, hoping that he get better. Can't wait to see him back out here.
What have you seen with the development of Surreal?
I think the NBA was talking about 3 weeks ago. I think he's the most improved player we've had here. From where he came from where he's at now. I think he really put the work in. He worked his butt off every day. He's one of our most improved players since we got here as this group of coaches. I think when he first got here, he was just fast. And now you see him developing into a wide receiver in this league. So that's fun to see, too. That's fun and fortunate to see when you have the belief in somebody and he has the belief in himself. It's really about the belief in himself. You really begin to see him grow as a player. He believes that, he belongs now. And that's a good thing for us because he do belong.
I don't know how many other track guys you've been around that have made the transition to the NFL, but they don't always succeed at it, right? What has allowed him to be able to make that transition successfully?
Well, most guys have been playing football all their life. It's hard to get here, right? So it's been guys been playing football their whole life, and it's still hard to play on this level of football. So for a guy that's, used to run track, but I think it's something different because, I mean, he's an 7-time All-American. That's not an accident. So it was a different sport, but I think all sports of some sort you can compare them in somewhat from a preparation, a mindset of what you got to be as an athlete, and I think that helps him. Been as though he accomplished what he accomplished on the track.
But just again, like he's a guy that tried, but it just wasn't a successful transition for him. So.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Hi guys, how you doing? Light crew.
Light crew, yeah. Tom, you've been through this before where guys you've worked with, whether it was Josh in New England or Charlie or whoever, they get a lot of recognition when they're candidates for head coaching jobs, right? I don't need you to predict who's going to be the next guy here, but Byron Leftwich and some others have had an opportunity now, may interview for Jacksonville. So if you had a crystal ball and looked down the line a while, with Byron, are there qualities there that would make him a head coach one day?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think, I've been around a lot of great coaches over the years, and, it's just a matter of time for different guys and different opportunities come up. So Byron's been amazing for me to work with, and I know he'll have a lot of opportunities. He'll do a great job.
Tom, you need just 3 touchdown passes to become just the second player to have back-to-back 40 touchdown seasons. Is that something that's meaningful? Would be meaningful to you?
I mean, just winning the game Sunday will be what I'm looking forward to. So we've got to go out there and earn it. All the individual stats and so forth, I think it's ultimately a team sport. So, it's just a credit to everybody. I think winning is the thing that I've concerned myself with the most and feel like that's the most important thing for any quarterback is to win games.
You had a moment against the Panthers, and you guys were in the red zone. It was just before Rojo's touchdown, when Tyler was in motion, and you said freeze, and then you said go ahead. And then after the touchdown, you made sure to go over to him, and you said something in his ear. I know you talked about that a little bit on your podcast, but can you just speak to the importance of doing that kind of in that moment versus waiting until Monday when you're watching the film?
Well, it's just, I think, important for all of us to be on the same page. So, quarterback naturally says a lot of things. I have a lot of experience with different situations and two people moving at the same time, and we had a couple guys moving and Tyler motion, and Tyler wasn't really sure, because he was just going across. But, I saw that we had multiple guys in motion, which is a penalty, so it's the quarterback's job to figure those things out. And just want to explain it to Tyler, in the moment when it's kind of fresh in our minds.
Can you speak to how important it is to kind of get out some of that stuff now while you're working together versus, having it come up in the postseason when that could really, bite you guys in the butt?
Yeah, I think it's important just because anytime you do it in the moment, there's, awareness with it. I mean, there's a million things that happen on every play, so you could wait to address things. But, when I see things at practice, I try to tell them right away, like, hey, this is the route. This is what we're thinking. This is the depth. This is the angle. This is the throw. This is, football, you got to be on the same page. I mean, all of us have to see things the same way, and it's all about constant communication. And if you don't communicate, you're not going to get any better at it.
Chris and Mike, Byron was just saying it's like 60% of the production, offensive yards. Is the ability to get back to that level of production there still in front of you, where guys have kind of stepped up and kind of filled in those roles, but also finding different ways to attack?
Yeah, that's going to be important. I think everyone's going to have to play a role with different people in and out of the lineup, and we've had a lot of people in and out the last. At different times you got to adjust. So different players, Leonard, Chris, Mike, AB's been out for a while, Gronk. You just got to try to get guys to play a role and provide the level of production that allows you to go down and score points. And every week's going to be a little bit different. So, again, I don't think it's production. Production is really just a matter of scoring points to me. If we can have to go 80 yards, we got to go 80 yards to get the ball in the end zone. If we get a turnover on the 10-yard line, it's still about scoring points. We don't have to produce as many yards to score points because the defense helped us out a lot. So it's really the ultimate team sport in that respect. You have to do the best you can do based on the circumstances and opportunities that you're provided. Each week those are a little bit different with different players, and depending on how the defense plays, or the special teams plays, or how the other team plays, those things kind of factor in differently to the overall, outcome of the game.
Tom, how close were you with John Madden, and what did he mean to you?
I obviously got to know him for a long period of time, doing bits being in the sport, and a lot of production meetings with him and shot commercials together. So I just had a lot of respect for him and what he meant to the game as a head coach and as an analyst. As kind of the amazing football legend. He meant a lot to the game. I think he entertained a lot of people. He brought a lot of joy to people's lives. So he was a great man, lived a great life.
I understand the league reached out and gave you a warning about throwing your Surface tablet.
Yeah, that was kind of a joke.
Okay, so did they actually formally warn you, or?
We just laughed about it. I think a couple guys, yeah. I didn't get anything personally, no.
Gotcha. And how does your family react when they see you so fired up like that on television? How do the kids react? How does Giselle react?
Probably not great. Yeah. I think that's probably not the best thing to do, but, it's, I probably should control my emotions better. I could do better than that.
A lot of games in MetLife Stadium or the Meadowlands.
Yeah.
What's some maybe your memories of that place? Is that a place you like playing in?
Yeah, great stadium. Always have a good crowd. It's a really beautiful stadium. Great. Locker rooms and how you drive in and so forth. It's very spacious. So I remember being at the old one for a long time, and the new one came. It was a long time ago. I think 2009 was the first. 2010 was the first year of that stadium, and I just played a lot of games there over the years, preseason games, and always very competitive games against the Jets. A lot of hard-fought games, but it's a great stadium, depending on the conditions and so forth. But
is it tricky because of the winds in there sometimes?
It was a lot trickier with the old stadium because they had one tunnel that used to come down one end, and the wind would come from the outside and would go up into the stadium. It's closed off now, so it's a really high stadium, so it's hard to get a ton of wind in there like it used to be. It used to be really tough. Not quite as tough anymore.
Tom, going back to John Madden.
Probably just jinxed myself. We're going to get 15
They used
degrees
to
and
open up the
sideways winds. I know.
Now,
Yeah, they used
I
to open
know.
up the garage doors, didn't they?
Yeah,
When you were trying to kick or
they
throw.
did. Yeah, for sure.
going back to John real quick,
thought in your first Super Bowl you guys should have played for overtime. And Charlie said he talked to him, joked about it afterwards. And did you ever get a chance to talk to him about going for the win and actually getting the W?
I never did, no, but I obviously remember, it kind of set the stage for us, the fact that he thought, okay, we should not go down and try to score, but it was pretty cool, to be able to do it, and then, it was a great time in our life. It was a long time ago, but that was a very great memory, and again, I think he was such a monumental figure in the league, and, anytime you had a production meeting with him, you were on your stuff. You wanted to go out there and help him do the best he could do, too. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
All right, take care.
Happy New Year.
See you guys. Thank you.